you were also the original guy who uncovered Epstein's little black book and made it public.
I was the guy that published Epstein's black book, yes. I had the Franklin scandal got published in 2009, 2010, and I'd spent 7 years on it. And it was dark. I mean, I went as deep into network as someone can go. I interviewed like one of the blackmail photographers, and then Henry, who was interacting with various CIA assets. Like that network, like the Epstein network, it's intelligence. I mean, it's used to compromise people. So I went very, very deep into that network, and what I found was unbelievably horrific. So that book took a lot out of me, and we just couldn't get people to buy it. People thought, nah, the government would never be part of a network. This is before Epstein. Mm-hmm. And Epstein at this point was a lone pedophile. There wasn't a network. He wasn't pandering. That's what the newspaper said he was basically a lone pedophile. And I went down there in 2012. I started looking into it in 2011. Then I went down there in 2012, started knocking on doors and doing my thing. And I ended up with this black book. And then I brought it back to New York City because I'd been pitching Epstein, and magazines really didn't want to deal with it at all. And I figured, well, once I get the black book, they're going to want to do something with it. And so I was pitching the black book, and no one wanted to touch it. Finally, Gawker published it in 2015, and then the floodgates opened on the black book. I mean, tons of ink have been dumped on the black book, and I think only 2 publications have given me credit for it. It's kind of funny.
So you were knocking on doors, and you got a hold of it. You glossed over that pretty fast. Whose doors were you knocking on, and where specifically did you get the book?
I mean, there are sources that I can't give out, but I was talking to anybody that I thought was affiliated with Epstein. And
you're talking about like big shots, like high level Wall Street people? Or are you talking about?
I'm talking more about attorneys that were affiliated with it. And then when I got the black book, the black book has like about 150 victims.
And can you say where you got the black book?
It really wouldn't. No, I can't.
Okay,
it's
fair enough.
As much as I'd like to, the thing about
I gotta ask.
Well, I'm very good at getting documents that no one else has gotten. Like when I wrote the Franklin scandal, I got there was a grand jury, and all that stuff was sealed. Okay, and I got all the testimony and all the exhibits from the grand jury. I'm one of those guys that people kind of trust. I mean, I think I look trustworthy. I mean,
yeah, totally.
Anyway,
yeah,
and I'm very trustworthy. But the reason why people give me stuff is because I don't tell them where I got it. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got to maintain that credibility.
But anyway, so I started calling these victims, and they started talking about being flown around. And I realized this guy wasn't a lone pedophile. He was at the helm of a pedophile network. He was flying these young girls to very powerful guys. Mm-hmm. And that's the story that I came back with in New York City. That's the story that I pitched. And people were just frightened of it. And I'd had one go around with, I was pitching the Franklin scandal, which is basically almost identical to Epstein. The Franklin scandal is about Republicans, little boys. And Epstein is, for the most part, Democrats, little girls. So I was pitching the Franklin scandal, and this is at a point I had a lot of connections in the mainstream media, and I could pitch it to just about, I could pitch it to a lot of different editors. So I was pitching the Franklin scandal to these editors, and I would look into their eyes, and I could see the wheels turning. They were up against cognitive dissonance, and basically what was going on in their minds was, this is a really horrible story. All these kids getting abused and it covered up. We're going to need to help Nick Bryant. Or I can just write Nick Bryant off as crazy right now, and then I can have a nice dinner with my family.
Not worry about losing my job.
Yeah. So every editor, and I had a lot of connections in, I live in New York City. I've lived there for 30 years. So I had a lot of connections in the media, And I was really surprised. You know, I knew that most of them would be spineless.
Right.
But there was only one guy that helped me, that had juice in publishing. There was only one guy.
Who's that?
His name was Malachi McCourt. His brother had written Angela's Ashes, and Malachi had published 5 or 6 books. And he was very popular. He was a very popular writer, and just he was a great wit. And he tried to help me with it, and he couldn't get any traction. So.
And how did you eventually get it in front of Gawker?
Well, John Cook.
We're talking about Epstein. You're talking about Franklin's scandal, right?
Yeah, but now we can jump between Franklin because they're very similar. I hooked up with John Cook, and he was the editor-in-chief of Gawker at that point. And he was willing to do it. And he was willing to, because at that point I had passenger manifests too. I was the first guy to really have passenger manifests also that had like Clinton's name on it and, you know, Kevin Spacey and Alan Dershowitz. I mean, I had the passenger manifest too. So Gawker was willing to do that. It's unfortunate that Gawker has since been sued into oblivion because Gawker...
Hulk Hogan and Peter Thiel.
Yeah, they outed Peter Thiel as gay, and
right.
Peter's kind of a fascist. And he said to everybody, anybody that sues Gawker, I will pay for it.
Right.
So that's how Gawker got taken down. And it's really unfortunate because Gawker would publish guys like me that no one else would touch.
Right.
So it's really unfortunate that Gawker got taken down.
And you were saying earlier something about there's something significant about somebody being in the black book and being circled versus just being in the black book.
Yes. The people that are circled, okay, how the black book came to exist was Alfredo Rodriguez stole all of Epstein's numbers, and which is the black book.
Who was Alfredo Rodriguez?
He was Epstein's house manager.
Okay. And
he was asked by attorneys that were deposing him if he had any extra information. He was saying no. His plan was to sell the black book. So he got in touch with one of the attorneys that was representing some of Epstein's victims in civil suits and said, I've got the Holy Grail, and I'll sell it to you for, I think, like $50,000. And the attorney went to the FBI, and then the FBI did a sting where they set Rodriguez up, and he sold the book to a female FBI agent.
No.
Yeah. So that's how and then I got the black book from some people who got it from the FBI.
Holy shit.
But Rodriguez said that the people that were circled were in cahoots with Epstein on the, as far as the child abuse.
So the FBI are the ones that did the circles?
No.
Epstein was.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez
did the circles, yeah. And Trump's name is circled. Now, Clinton's name is not circled, but Epstein's got 25 contact numbers for him.
Yeah, he's also got 25 contact numbers for RFK Jr.
No, not that many.
I thought it was pretty damn close.
No, not that many.
How many was it for him?
I don't know. I think like about.
And he
7 or 8.
also addressed this in the media. Yeah. Like he said that, I forget what it was, the wife or something was like going down to Palm Beach.
A rock hunt or something like that.
A rock hunt. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's fascinating.
But that's how the black book ultimately got into my possession, is the FBI did a sting on it, and then some people got the black book from the FBI, and then I got the black book.